Hello, what's up everybody? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And in this one I am going to be grading the Black Ops series that Treyarch has made over the last few life cycles when it has been its turn. And first and foremost, shout out to Treyarch that basically I just wanted to also briefly show my appreciation and to Treyarch because even though all games multiplayer wise have had their ups and downs, no doubt about it, Treyarch has given us 3 solid Black Ops games for the most part. So the games were pretty solid, they were well balanced, and a lot of consideration and attention was given to the games. So big shout out to Treyarch, and thank you for making your games playable and enjoyable. Not that they don't have any problems, which we're going to get into in a minute, so I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. And I am also going to be stating that these are just going to be multiplayer only. Even though I have played the campaign for the games, at least the first 2. The third one I barely touched, but I'm not a zombies player, but for the most part I just play multiplayer more than anything. So I just I figured I'd keep it and multiplayer, as well as the fact that, well, pretty much what I feature on the channel is multiplayer gaming, so it makes more sense that way. So this is not like an overall grading, this is basically grading the multiplayer for the Black Ops series. So without further ado, there's a lot to get into, so let's get straight into this. Let's start with Black Ops 1, the game that you're seeing right now. Basically, they had to continue on from Modern Warfare 2, which was a big task to do in and of itself, especially since Modern Warfare 2 was a huge success. So, and overall, believe it or not, they managed to definitely succeed, because a lot of the fan base of Call of Duty believes that Black Ops 1 may be the best game in the entire series. I would say around 40 to 50% of the population seems to think that, from everything that I have seen and read upon. And basically what they did was they took a Modern Warfare 2 formula and they've kind of nerfed it a little bit, and they made it more balanced than Modern Warfare 2 was, in a sense, in terms of, you know, the kill streaks and how you get them and how they don't stack. And it's all about getting the gun kills in order to get your kill streaks, and then you had to die in order to get them again. And then with the combat record and everything else and all the different perks and the way you can use them and all these sort of things. Now, obviously, Ghost FAMAS was a big problem in this game. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Nuketown was kind of a hit and miss. You know, half the population liked it, half the population hated it. But for the most part, at least in Black Ops 1, everybody loved, well, a majority of the population absolutely loved Nuketown because it was a little bit more balanced. It was also the first map that they made in terms of making it really small and making it fun overall. So it was kind of the first one, so to speak. So therefore, I guess you can say, especially back then, since Black Ops 1 had just come out, and it was back in, what, 2010 or whatnot, late 2010. You know, the games, let's face it, games were made a little bit differently that way, and on top of that, you know, the way they thought about making games and stuff like that is a little bit different, because now they've added all these other things into the game, like supply drops and extra DLC that, you know, doesn't necessarily need to be in the game or whatnot. But anyway, wow, that was a short chopper gunner. But anyway, back on topic. For the most part, the game was very, very solid. The maps were really good. There were a lot of memorable maps. Firing range obviously was a very memorable map. All the maps were pretty much, for the most part, fun to play with, except for maybe Array, you know, because that map was just a little too big or whatnot. But at the same time, if you were playing ground war, it was good, or if you were a sniper, it was good. Speaking of sniper, a lot of the population complained that quick scoping was nerfed a lot, and you know, you had to be really, really passive to snipe. And you know, I have an agreement and a disagreement about that, so I can definitely see where both sides of the community come from, because even though I'm not a sniper, I'm not going to basically take one side over the other simply because I don't play that style or because I don't use that weapon. I definitely understand where everybody's coming from, and the thing is, like it or not, quick scoping and fast-paced sniping is a thing that is a gameplay style in Call of Duty, and it's part of the game at this point. So there's a vast percentage of the population that plays that way and enjoys it and wants to do that. So I could definitely understand it. You know, I don't necessarily have to be a part of it, but I understand it. So so again, for the most part, the game was really solid. The hit detection, though, in my opinion, was really one of the things that held the game back. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the servers or whatever the deal was, but for the most part, other than the hit detection, Black Ops 1 was a really solid game. Assault rifles were given a little too much love, except for the MP5K and the AK-74U, which were really deadly submachine guns. But The other submachine guns were a little bit more of a challenge to use. They're not like now to where you can use submachine guns and like assault rifles nowadays. Again, it was much more different. But with that being said, they did have their fair use. If you were really close against somebody with a submachine gun, chances are you're going to lose that gunfight. And shotguns were a challenge to use in this game as well. But at the same time, if you did have the skill, you could do work. I mean, just watch XCal. If you guys haven't watched it, just watch XCalZor's live commentaries, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So just look it up on YouTube if you haven't already, if you've never heard of that player, which I'm pretty sure you should have. But with that being said, the game was really, really solid. There wasn't the amount of BS in multiplayer back then, especially with Black Ops 1 compared to now, was definitely less. So that's something that we can come to appreciate as time goes on now. But Black Ops 1 was really, really solid. And in my opinion, the biggest problem with Black Ops 1 was pretty much the hit detection. I didn't have as much of a big problem with Ghost and FAMAS. And again, you could always use it and counter it yourself. So Black Ops 2, basically, in my opinion, Black Ops 2 did so many things way better that basically brought the game up to another level in terms of multiplayer, in terms of the way the weapons were used and how they were balanced out with submachine guns. Every single weapon was good. You can own with every single weapon in that game, considering you knew how to use it properly. Sniping, yes, was a little bit overpowered, but the community asked for an improvement on snipers, and they sure as hell got it. Let's see here. The maps were good. They were small to medium-sized maps. 3-lane maps. League play was introduced, and till this day, League play is far superior to basically what Arena is now in Black Ops 3. At least from what a lot of players say and from what I've seen myself, so I can definitely agree with that. And then there was also the fact that they also what else did they do that it's on? Oh yes, they introduced the score streak system, which rewarded many different styles of play. If you're an objective player, you can get rewarded. If you were a slayer, you can get rewarded. I mean, overall, it just took the basic concept of what Call of Duty was, and they took a look at all the play styles and all these different things, and basically just maximized their potential pretty much. And when they introduced League play, it was basically a prayer answer to the professional community, the guys that want to be pro players or that are pro players in the community. It was basically a prayer answered. They got a lot of attention thrown their way, and it kind of pretty much paved the way to what Call of Duty Pro Gaming is now. League play was awesome, and they even had team deathmatch in there as well, at least during the game's life cycle. And again, they brought back Nuketown, which a lot of people liked and a lot of people hated, but for the most part, it was solid. The game overall was well balanced. They fixed a lot of issues from the first game. The hit detection was slightly better, in my opinion. If you had a low population count, that would definitely make a difference. But in terms of the playlist, but in terms of everything else, I mean, the hit detection, in my opinion, was a step above of what it was in Black Ops 1. And Black Ops 1 basically had party games, and Black Ops 2 had party games as well. But the only thing that Black Ops 2 did that Black Ops 1 did better in terms of party games is that they had wager matches, and for some reason, ever since then, they never really brought back wager matches. And now all that's left of party games in Black Ops 3 is gun game, but we're going to get into Black Ops 3 in a minute. But basically, overall, for at least 70 to 80% of the game, they took what was in Black Ops 1 and improved it immensely. The game was faster paced, so it wasn't as clunky. The hit detection was an improvement overall. They introduced League play. The weapons were more balanced. The maps were not really huge, but at the same time, they weren't too small either, except for maybe a couple of exceptions like Hijacked and Nuketown. But other than that, even Hijacked was well balanced. So the spawn system was good. I mean, everything, and introducing the score streak system and everything to reward all play styles and objective play. I mean, overall, it was a vast improvement, and it was a great accomplishment on Treyarch's part. So, and don't worry, I'll be giving my personal grades at these 3 games at the very end. And I don't want to make this commentary too long, so let's go straight into Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 overall basically they had a really big task ahead of them, and thank God they had a 3-year development life cycle. They had a big task, and that task was, how do we improve on Black Ops 2, which is an absolute huge task, because Black Ops 2 improved in just about almost every single aspect of what Black Ops 1 was. And Call of Duty fans overall in general just embraced it, and it was awesome. Obviously, you know, again, none of the games are perfect and they all have their issues, but for the most part, you know, if you look at everything that they've done that they addressed from the previous games, that was awesome. So basically, Black Ops 3 just wanted to add another layer, and what did they do? I mean, they obviously got the feedback from Advanced Warfare that a lot of fans were not, you know, too fond of the exos, so they slowed that down. They made it a little bit more fluid, slower paced, a little bit more balanced. They made it kind of risky when you did some wall jumping or wall running, so to speak. The game was, you could still go boots to the ground if you wanted to and still be extremely successful, so they've managed to find the balance overall, in my opinion. Weapon balancing wasn't quite as good in Black Ops 3 as it was in Black Ops 2, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to sound biased here. But overall, in Black Ops 2, I feel, at least from a pub standpoint, I mean, from a profession, from what the pros use, there's always going to be 1 or 2 guns that they're going to use, or maybe 3 that they're going to use. You know, whenever there's competitive or whatnot, that's always been something in Call of Duty. But in terms of from a pub's perspective, in my opinion, the balancing of the weapons wasn't quite as good as it was in Black Ops 2, but it still was good. It was still solid. It was still better than Black Ops 1 overall, as far as, you know, the amount of weapons you can use and how you can be effective with them and such. Sniping, in my opinion, was balanced better. The sniping community overall, you know, has had a little bit of a tougher time, and I do kind of feel for them. You know, if I was in charge of the game, I would have made it to where it wasn't as powerful as Black Ops 2, but just a little bit easier to do in this game than to do in this game, because you know, a lot of snipers are really having a hard time. You have to put in a little bit of extra time, and I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong, but like for somebody who just likes sniping and that is fairly new, it's going to be really difficult for them to get into it, at least. But I would have made it slightly easier by adding just a little bit more aim assist, if anything. But I wouldn't have made it as cheesy as it was in Black Ops 2, that's for sure. But that's what I personally would have done. The maps were really, really good. Nuketown, again, I really don't like this version of Nuketown for the most part. I don't know, maybe because I'm Nuketown outed, and I've had enough. But the maps were good. They reintroduced the score streak system. The league play or arena, not as good as it was in Black Ops 2. But for the most part, the hit detection also, in my opinion, out of all the Black Ops series, this one was the best. And the biggest thing that killed Black Ops 3, in my opinion, was the supply drops that introduced way too much cheese with a lot of the different weapons that you can get. That you had to get an insane amount of supply drops for, if you were even lucky to get that. And with the different melee weapons, they give you that Commando Pro or whatnot. They give you that lunge, which is really annoying. But overall, you know, that's pretty much what did it. And of course, at the end, the connection, I don't know what it's been the past few months, but there was been frame rate drops and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, for the most part though, if you add in everything, there's been more positives than negatives. So for the most part, I'd probably give Black Ops 1 a B+, Black Ops 2 an A-, and Black Ops 3 a B. And that is my final grade for all the 3 Black Ops games. Again, I didn't want. I could go on about this, but I just wanted to make this as short and sweet as I possibly could. And it's already this commentary is already longer than usual, as long as with the gameplay. So, anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. So let me know down in the comments section. What do you think? Do you think that? What are your grades, personal grades for Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 in your experiences? Let me know down in the comments section. If you like the video, guys, let me know. And if you don't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.